Hi, this is Simone Rankin Reed, the Zen Mommy. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel and my Spiritual Awakening and 5D Ascension talk show. Today I have a special guest star, Pattie Papa, the wife of Victor Oddo, Spiritual Awakening and Ascension YouTuber, also my coach. And today we are coming on today because I had a subscriber, actually a couple of them, ask me some questions about how to deal with, I guess, awakening and parenthood and raising a family. And so I thought it would be best to bring my friend Pattie Oddo on so she can do the perspective. She's married and she has multiple children, and I'm a single mom with one child. And so we're going to both talk about how we are getting through this process with our awakening and ascension. And so Pattie, I want to introduce you. Tell us something about yourself.
Okay. Wow. As you mentioned, I'm married to Victor Oddo, and we have 3 kids. Our daughter's 8, and then our sons are 4 and 2. And I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I homeschool my 8-year-old temporarily. We're going to put her in a school eventually, but I don't know. Is that?
Oh, that's it. You just
okay.
just casual.
Okay. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting to do that.
I know. I'm kind of nervous, and I always get nervous when I do videos with other people. Okay, so I guess so today we want to talk about that. And so when that topic came up, when I started my YouTube channel Zen Mommy, like that's really one of the things I wanted to focus on, because like after your awakening, you want to make sure that you're not raising your child the way you were raised. You want to make sure that they remain awake or have a life that is conducive to being awake and staying awake. And so,
Right.
But it can get really, really hard with like meditation and trying to keep up your practices and the changes that you're going through. And I guess one of the subscribers said, well, what do you do? I have 3 kids making noise, and then I try to meditate, and some broke out of my peace once they say, Mom, he hit me.
Yeah.
So I guess
Oh gosh.
I want to see how do you handle, I guess, situations like that when it comes to like trying to keep like a meditation practice or any of your spiritual practice with a house full of kids and your husband.
Yeah, I don't at home. I just can't meditate at home because unless all the kids are asleep, so either early in the morning or in the evening once all the kids are in bed, then I can meditate. But usually, honestly, I'll just do it like in the sauna at the gym because the kids are away and I just have headphones in and I'm just like, sitting there sweating, meditating. And that's the only way that I can really meditate. You just can't when you have that, like all the chaos. It's like, don't put any pressure on yourself for that.
Yeah, that's one thing that I learned too, is it's like, I think as parents, like a meditation practice is very important. I don't want to even downplay that. But as parents, sometimes you just have to go with the flow. Like even if you miss days without meditation because you're so focused, it's okay, because like it'll always be a time and a space. Like it seems to like work out where there's always a time and space where you can have a time to meditate. Like you have your gym, right? So like with me and Storm, so I'm a single mom now. My daughter moved out, so I have no other support. So when it comes to meditation, thank God he's in daycare. That's what's working for me, and I kind of do it during the daytime since I'm staying home and starting my own business. But when he's not in daycare, let's just say if the school is closed, it's a vacation or the weekend, I take advantage of his nap breaks, which is kind of hard because when he's napping, I want to clean up, I want to do this, and I want to do that. But I just started to realize to make it a priority to like, okay, he's asleep. Let me just try to at least get 5-10 minutes in to meditate.
Yeah.
Doing it at night when they go to sleep, which is also hard for me because a lot of times when I put Storm to bed, I'm laying there with him, and the next thing you know, I'm tired. I'm out. And so it's just about I guess just trying to find that moment. And I read this book called by Thich Nhat Hanh called Peace in Every Step. And so like I think you may have to shy away from maybe the regular meditation practice where you can sit and do 20 to 30 minutes. there was some steps that I learned, like how to walk and meditate. You can
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
washing dishes and meditating at every stoplight, and just like taking some deep breaths and being conscious. You don't necessarily need your eyes closed and need to be in meditation pose every time.
Right.
You just need to be able to clear your mind and take some breaths. I remember when I started the walking. Did I ever I don't know if I told you about the story about the monk. Right. Have I told you?
No.
Okay, so
no.
Oh, okay. So right after me, Storm's dad split, when I found out all of those secrets, and I was just hurting, and I was just like, I put out to the universe. I said, I just want to learn how to love myself and find myself. And this is when I first, like, in the beginning. And the next day, a monk had moved in the neighborhood. He was walking up the street meditating, and he walked straight toward me, and he was like taken with Storm. And at that moment, he taught me how to meditate, how to walk and meditate. And he gave me a book by Thich Nhat Hanh. So I did that meditation while walking, right?
I love him, by the way. Thich Nhat Hanh.
And this guy was a Zen monk, okay? And so that's Zen mommy. And so I did it. So I did this. So he taught a meditation where you say, breathing in, I know that I am breathing in, and you breathe in. And you say, breathing out, I know that I am breathing out, and you breathe out. And it's very simple. And the fact that you're saying breathing in, breathing out, it would take your mind away quickly to all of the thoughts. And I remember I did it 3 times, that whole process. I walked, did it 3 times, and I felt refreshed. And the trees were greener, the sky was bluer, I felt connected. And so sometimes it just really just takes getting there, just giving it a shot. And so what do you do, I guess, how do you handle, like, I guess, when the kids are all over and you just feel like you can't just, like, get in peace?
I just try to separate myself. Sometimes I need to I say, I need a timeout, or you guys need to go do this because I need to go and I need to, like, center myself, so I stop freaking out. That's the only way that I can really do it, because when there's all the chaos, the energy is so jarring to my, like, energy field that I can't focus on my breath, because I physically feel the energy of the chaos. So I have to leave the room in order to, like, get my Zen on.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that I feel like is a good idea, and I know Storm is really young, but teaching them, like, the meditation practice, like start incorporating it, like, in your daily, you know, as a part of life, a part of, like, brushing your teeth is something you need to do. Now, Storm is too young to do it, but Storm can say, so he starts doing that, and so I just sit with there and I just do it with him, and we go, he loves it. He thinks it's fun. And I think it's a good way to get started, and then maybe later he'll know that. I think that if any of us had been taught this when we were young, we would have grown up more mindful.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
So I totally believe that, like, incorporating the meditation, making it a fun activity, you know, especially if you have older kids. And I saw the video or a picture with your son, was one of your kids was meditating with Victor?
Yeah, probably Lucas. Yeah. We do the singing bowl. With the kids, and we try to do things like that because it gets them, like, comfortable doing those kind of things, and it's good for them, because a lot of times, like, especially, like, when you go, like, our kids, I'm sure your kids, I know your daughter is empathic, but the kids that are coming in now are super empathic, and they'll pick up other people's energy. So it's actually beneficial for them, even as kids, to do what you're doing, you know, when you meditate with Storm, or singing bowl, or rattles, or drums, or whatever sort of things that you do for yourself. It's great to do that with your kids, because then your kids, not only do they get used to doing it, but it also helps clear their energy as well from things that they may have picked up residually being out in the world, whether they're at school or daycare or just at the grocery store.
Yep. So yeah, developing a practice with the kids, especially
Mhm.
if they're older, and if even if they're younger, just like I have Storm saying "om" already, and then pretty soon he's going to be crossing his legs, and he'll
Right.
think it's fun and cute, but at the same time he's learning something positive.
Right.
Also,
And we don't have like a specific like routine. We don't do it every day. We
hmm
kind of like do it as we see fit.
hmm
And when your kids are young, that's kind of how you have to play it.
yeah,
You can't it's like you can't force, especially like our 8-year-old. We
yeah,
can't force her now to come do the singing bowl. We can only ask her if she'd like to join us. And
hmm
then most of the time she says yes, but
hmm
sometimes she is crabby and says no.
Also, another thing. So with me and with Storm, like Storm, when he gets to his getting me frustrated and he's screaming and he's uncorrigible and doesn't want me to put him down. One thing I noticed, like, is I've had to just shut things down when he's like that. Like, cut off the technology, maybe go to the park and just like
Hmm.
absorb nature. And I noticed that
Yeah.
made a big calming effect in our life. Is just to like, okay, if our kids are jumping up and needing our attention, we really have to just give it to them because
Yeah.
that in a way that's actually to me a very spiritual thing to have to form this bond and this connection with your children and shut off technology and do things together. And in that way, they won't
Right.
feel so needy, when they get older, and
Yeah.
you will have more time to like have your peaceful moments.
Right. And a lot of times kids, when they do that kind of thing where they are like acting out for attention,
hmm
it's really just a behavior because they really do want your attention. Even if like you're with them all, say you were with Storm all day long, he would still have bouts where he would need attention. So it's actually good and beneficial for them to give them like structured daily one-on-one attention for 10 or 20 minutes every day, just where you do whatever they want to do and for that specific amount of time. And with kids like Storm's age or Bash's age, they just they don't even care. But when the kids get older, that's very important because then they won't act out for attention because they'll know, hey, I get this amount of attention every day,
hmm
and it's whatever I want to do. You know.
Yeah,
So I actually read that in the book. So
oh, you did? Oh,
that's
cool.
yes, I did
That's some good
because
structured
when I started,
advice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, when I started homeschooling, I had to start educating myself on how to be a balanced parent because I didn't have any. I was like, well, I'm with them all the time. I better get my stuff
Yeah.
together.
I could never do it. Like if Storm was home in the daytime, I wouldn't even be able to do Zen mommy. Like I couldn't.
Right.
I can't even imagine
Because
if I have more kids. I need to be married first. I'm not gonna even try to manage a bunch of kids all by myself. It's just too
no
much.
way.
With Storm, it's
Yeah.
just like I'll be on my phone like when the moment I think he's quiet, and I'm like, oh, let me hurry up and put the tags in for my video. And as soon as he
Yeah.
sees my phone, he's all,
Yeah.
they don't like
They've
it. They
got
don't like
radar.
the phone.
Yeah, no, they have radar. I swear, they cannot bother me all day, but as soon as I get on the phone, I don't even have to speak. They'll come in the room. They're like, no, like I'm on the phone. Mom's on the phone. Let's go bother her.
Yeah. And so also one of my friends for Storm's birthday, they gave him this book, this mindful book, and I thought it was cute. They have like mindful books and games for kids. And this book, you open it up, and it basically says it's okay to be, I love me, and it has like really short positive affirmations for the baby. I'm perfect the way I am, and so there's different type of uh, what is it? Mindful games and activities. So I was a therapist for
Oh,
children. Okay, so my last job before I was an event planner, I was I was I was a therapist for autistic children, and
oh,
I had this game that I would play with one of my kids because I'm awakened, and I want to do things differently. We got to play games. We played games with our children, and one of the games that he had this game, and it was called yoga. What is it? I want to say yoga cards or yoga. It was this stack of cards, and each card had a yoga position, and it made it into a fun game or a meditation pose, and you had to meditate for
Oh,
5 seconds. And my kid would get so excited. We would get on the ground. We would do all the meditation. So I would use it like as a reward treat, like oh. And so there are a lot of
yeah,
now mindful activities. So I believe like after awakening, it's just like we kind of just have to think differently. We just have to incorporate everything that's going to promote like mindfulness and awakening in our children's lives.
yeah.
Do you know of any
Yeah.
other activities, or have you ever heard of that? God, I wish I can think of the name yoga something cards. I want to include. I want to have it in my store. Actually.
Oh yeah. I actually have the yoga cards.
Oh yeah. What's the
They
name
were.
of
I
it?
don't know.
Do you
I
know?
don't even know.
Okay. Yeah. And so
Yoga
you know, I
cards.
started the Zen Mommy
Yoga for
store.
kids. I don't know, but yeah, I got them from. I don't even remember. We somehow just ended up with them,
Yoga
and
pretzels. It's called yoga pretzels.
oh yes, yes, yes,
Yoga, oh my God,
yes,
they
you're
are
right.
amazing.
Yes, I have them. Yes,
Yep.
and we would do them with the kids sometimes, but I don't know. Maybe we should do that more often because I think that would be fun
Yeah, you know, like make it fun. And,
for
and
the
that's what I
kids.
did with my kids. So we would do,
Yeah.
we would work on things. And then when, you know, after he would take a break and I'll be like, you want to do yoga pretzels? He'd be like, yay! He's all excited for yoga pretzels. And then the parents were really happy that I
Yeah.
was teaching them yoga and meditation because they were really excited about that. And so that is a good, you know, I started that
Yeah.
store, Zen Mommy. I have a section there for Zen Babies. So I'm starting to put mindful toys in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta
Oh,
check it
that's so
out.
good.
And then I have a Zen Mommy and Me
Great.
section
Yeah.
where you can get like matching yoga clothes with your kids.
Oh, how cute. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's so cute.
And so also, let's see. Oh, I read this book at the beginning of my awakening. I was just like divinely sent through a set of synchronicities to a book in my. I was listening to Till Swan one day, and Till Swan mentioned the word oneness. And see, you know, the church that I grew up in, it was like a religious cult, right? So when they taught
Yeah.
us that oneness was a cult. And so when I realized I was awakening and I heard Till Swan mention the word oneness, I was thinking, oh my God, am I in another cult? And after that, Storm wouldn't stop crying. And I was like, let's go to the thrift store because there's a thrift store right here that has toys. I took him to get a toy, and there was a book section. And there was a book, it was glowing at me saying, Awakening into Oneness. Like, I just was like, he wouldn't stop crying. It led me there. Those were my synchronicities. So I got that book, and I had to because of the way that sign. But when I read, I
I've
didn't
heard
even.
of that book.
Oh, you have? Okay. I didn't read the
I
whole
think
book,
so,
right?
yeah.
It mostly talks about.
Who's that?
Huh?
Do you know who that's by?
I don't know who it's by, but I can get it afterwards and send you the.
No, I feel like Victor has that book.
Oh yeah.
And I think he has it. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So
I'm
okay. So I read some of it, but I didn't read all of it. I just sometimes when I open a book, sometimes I get the message I need. I don't finish the whole book.
Yeah.
So that was
That's
one
how
of those cases. It's about this couple in India, right? And this is where something called a Diksha. Had you heard of the Diksha before? All right, I'll tell you about the Diksha later. But it talks about awakening into oneness. And the Diksha is this energy transfer that they put over your head, and they transfer this energy, and it causes the awakening. And when I heard that, I was like, I need to have it. Anyways,
Yeah.
but before
need
I
that
learned
down.
about the Diksha, it talks about this school called Oneness University, and in this school, there were these children in it, and these children were basically woke children, and the way they would teach them was totally different than the outside world. Like there was no competition, there was no trying to get an A or F or you're bad, or it was all about they knew that they can get anything they want. They knew about they were taught at an early age that they can manifest the things they want. So they were often wishing for things and getting them. So they were like naturally being taught away from the world, away from public, how to live an awakened life as a child. And they were able to have intuitive abilities, psychic abilities, vision, because they cultivated that in that school. And so like when I read that part, I was simply amazed. And so one of the kids in there, I think the person who wrote it, they came up with this Diksha process, and this process where you put it over your hand, and the energy transfer. I wanted it so bad. I was like, I gotta get to India. That's what. So anyways, they closed down the school, but they opened up this big university in the Oneness University in India somewhere. I don't know if you've heard of it. If you ever go to their website, oh my God, they make it seem like it's just heaven. Everybody's there, and they're getting this energy transfer. Wow. They're feeling good. They're feeling bliss. Like afterwards, you feel bliss. I talked to one person who got it. She was just like, I got it, and I became love, and my husband was love, and everybody around me was love, and it's just like this oneness, peaceful feeling. So I was like, I have to get this. I have to get this right. And I don't even know why I'm going off because this has nothing to do with the parenting thing.
But you know what? It kind of does.
I was like, I have to get this Diksha thing. I applied for the university. I didn't have money for a plane ticket or to go there. And I was like, I gotta go. And I ended up going to the dentist one day, right? And the dentist was an Indian guy, and I was telling him, do you know about the Diksha? We started talking. And he says, yeah, I've heard about it. You should check out this place called Landform, or Landmark. Whatever it was, he told me, it's either Landform or Landmark, but he told me the wrong one. And I was searching for it online, and I found a place in Berkeley near my house that did the Diksha. And I just showed up one day with the book. Like, I got there a few minutes late, right?
I need this.
And they were already they get really quiet, and they go in a circle, and it was like all older women, and like I'm the only one. They're older women, they're white, and I'm like the only young person, and I walk in, and I'm late, and it's like a quiet little ceremony thing, right? And she's looking at me like, what are you doing in here? And I hold up the book, Awakening to Oneness. And so when I get there, she goes, sit down. But when I get there, the woman, I froze because the woman who was like, what are you, she looked at me like, she didn't say anything because they had to be quiet. She looked at me, the woman, I seen her in my dream. Like I saw her in a dream. I was like, I saw her for a second. I was like, oh my God, where do I know her from? I saw her. And afterwards I said, this is going to be weird. I told her, I said, but I seen you in a dream. And she says, I remember you. I was like, what? And so, so I got this Diksha, right? And this energy transfer, and that feeling that they kept talking about, the awakening and all that, I didn't feel it. But a lot of things can happen. You get healing, and it works differently for different people. Mm-hmm. But I realized at that point, I didn't understand what the awakening was. I realized I was already awake. And that feeling that I already got that feeling. Like the truth is I already had that feeling. But it was like, but I kept going because the transfer is still positive. Like sometimes it would make me feel amazing, great things would happen. And then sometimes I would get extra sensitive and I could feel everything. And anyways, I didn't mean to go off all on that, but like that book.
Oh, I'm fascinated. I'm just like, I want to get a Diksha now.
I know, see what I mean? I'm going to be training to learn how to give the transfer. I was like, I'm an energy healer. That's something easy. It's like $200, and the people from India come here now. Like those women all went to India and learned and got trained, and they like have their groups. And so they teach it. They teach it now. They have meditations. And it's been like an interesting experience. Like I met all of these people, and it's been wonderful. But like starting off with that book, going back to that, it's just like I really saw when I started Zen Mommy that this is what I wanted to cultivate in us, teaching our children a more mindful way to grow up, teaching them about their intuitive abilities, letting them embrace them, because like growing up for me, to embrace these abilities was a shameful thing because I thought it was an evil spirit or a sin, and I would definitely go to hell. My church gave me an exorcism because I was seeing the future and the visions, and I was just like, oh God, like I was seeing things before they happened, and I was like, I went to the minister, and I'm like, yeah, I keep having these dreams. I remember one day I had this dream, and something happened to my daughter. I was getting my hair done, and I got a call, and something bad happened to my daughter and her. In
your dream, right?
In my dream, the dad's family. So I went to. It was so powerfully strong, and I went to the church. I said, no, I said, you guys don't understand. Something's going to happen to my daughter. I told her dad. He's like, it was just a dream. I told the church. They're like, it's just. I said, no, I cannot. And we had a court situation where I had to send her. And I was just like, no, please don't make me send her. I felt it. This is real. You don't believe me. This is real. And like, they was like, no, it's just a dream. And so in my dream, I was getting my hair done. And I was like, okay, I'm going to avoid getting my hair done to see if I could throw what off what's going to happen. You know, like if I change one little scenario. But I had went a couple of months without my hair done. Are you still there?
No, you were gone for a second, so
okay.
I'm sorry.
I still see you, so.
Okay.
I went a couple of months without my hair done, and finally it just got to the point I needed my hair done. And so I went to the beautician, and I started feeling anxiety. Like, oh, God, like something like when I have a dream that's a premonition dream, I will have anxiety until the event happens. Mm-hmm. And so I was having anxiety. Next thing you know, I got a phone call. They lost my daughter in the mall, and they had the police looking for her for hours, and they were like afraid that they were going to have to call me and tell me they were going home without her. I was like, what? And so it turns out that they lost her in the mall, but she found in a clothing store, you know how they have the clothes rack, but it's in a circle, and there's dresses or something all around. She was in the center of one hiding.
Oh my God.
She was scared. And I was just like, oh my God. And that was it. That was the dream. And I was just like, wow. And so I think also, I guess that's going into like trusting your intuitive abilities with your children. Because I remember also like, if you really listen, you will get communication when something is wrong. And, you know, there was this one time I flew out to North Carolina, and I had a babysitter for my daughter, and I had everything written out to the teacher, my emergency contacts. The teacher forgot to turn in the emergency paperwork, and her babysitter forgot to pick her up one day. And all of a sudden, I'm in North Carolina, and I just start feeling sick to my stomach. I'm like, oh my God, something's wrong. And I knew it had something to do with my daughter. And it turns out, that's when I found out they left her. It was like 7 o'clock at night, and they were about to call CPS and have my child taken away. And
you should have got did you get a new babysitter after that?
Yeah. My godmom ended up getting her. And I was just like, what? And so, and that luckily what happened was my daughter was so smart. She saw what the teacher did with the paperwork. And so she was like, if you just let me in the classroom, I'll show you where the teacher put it. She put it in the book. And they got it, and they were able to get her somewhere. I was like, oh my God. And so it's just like, we already naturally have a bond and a connection with our children.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I guess like trying to develop that more, make sure we're sensitive enough to listen to like the needs of our child. Mm-hmm. Do you have any like experiences where you had to depend on your intuition?
No, I haven't. Thank God I haven't, to be honest, after hearing all that. But, no, because I've always been with them all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
So as soon as I had Maya, I used to be a hairdresser. And so when, I had Maya, then I was doing hair out of the house. So I didn't need a babysitter to watch her, and my in-laws always watched the kids when we were still in Michigan. So I have not, luckily, had anything like that. But I will say, like, when the kids fall and they get hurt, I feel it physically. Like, I describe it as like my skin itches. Mm-hmm. Like there's like pins and needles under my skin.
Yeah, empath ability.
I have no other way to describe it, mm-hmm. But so I do get that. But a lot of times it'll be like I'm sitting there watching. Mm-hmm. Oh, I did have one thing where my daughter was riding her bike and she chipped her front tooth, mm-hmm. And like a week before she was like doing that with her teeth, and I thought she's gonna chip her tooth. And then like that next week she like chipped her tooth.
It's crazy how things work.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess I had that, but other than that, I haven't had any like where I've been far away and like had that feeling something was wrong. Mm-hmm. So, but I did want to touch on we keep talking about our kids' abilities and like nurturing that. And I feel like a lot of the kids now, like you won't be able to not nurture that. They're not gonna just allow you to like hinder that. Some kids will, you know, in a sense, but like my daughter, she will just say things and I'm just like, wow, that is just so profound. And you're 8. Like, how do you even know to say something in that specific of a way? That's just such a synchronicity and something that I need to hear right in that moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And she does that all the time. And all 3 of my kids used to tell me things that I was thinking in my head. Like I'd be thinking something and they, like, sometimes I would think a question and Maya would answer my question.
Yeah.
And I was like, did I say that out loud? And I'm like, I know I didn't, you know. I don't know if you can hear Bash's crying.
I remember that happened to me once when Summer was like about, I don't know, 6 or 7, and I was going through a rough time. My job had demoted me to like a lesser position, and I was just promoted, and I was about to get the raise, and I was dependent on that raise. Right. And I remember I was just sitting there stressed out on the couch, and my daughter just started singing this song. If we are faithful, there will be no telling what our God can do. And I was just like, out of the blue.
Right.
Out of the blue. And then I was like, it encouraged me. And then guess what? I found out that they gave me a raise, $1,000 more, even though they demoted me. And it was just like the spirit that would calm me, you know, through my child. And it was amazing. That was one of my first, like, really synchronistic signs, and I didn't really pay attention to it then. But now that I'm awake, I'm like, wow, you've been with me all along. Right.
Yes.
I was going to ask you, I wanted to ask you about, so how do you handle, so with Storm, because he's young, but I know there's going to come a time where I'm going to put him in school. And I see that you decided to homeschool, but you're going to eventually put him in.
Maya actually was in a school. I put her in a daycare when she was like 2.5. It was like a daycare / preschool. Mm-hmm. And it was just not really a good environment for her, and she kept getting really, really sick. And so finally,
getting sick at his daycare.
Like she got the croup really bad, and it would not go away. So we just took it as a sign that she shouldn't be in that school. So we took her out. It was just a little like preschool.
Yeah.
But then when she was 4, we put her in a school that was recommended by one of Victor's clients at the time. Mm-hmm. And it was a Waldorf school, which is like I don't know if you've heard of Waldorf.
Yeah, no, we almost put Storm in the Waldorf school too.
Yeah, yeah, and it was just such a beautiful school, and we put her in like the summer camp there. Mm-hmm. To see how she did. Mm-hmm. And then
is that bad?
He's like at the door. I'm like, why is he crying at the door? If he doesn't stop, I'll have to go get him. But
Victor?
yeah, exactly. Where's Victor? He's probably just in the middle of doing something and doesn't realize he's at the door.
Yeah.
So anyway, so she was in a Waldorf school for 3 years up until first grade, and then that school closed down. Mm-hmm. So I started homeschooling for second grade, and now she's in third. So
yeah, they have a hippie school here. I met this couple, and they're like, "Oh, there's a hippie school. It's just like really free and relaxing, and that seems cool." But I'm often concerned, like, do I want to put him in a school? Like, at the same time, do you ever have the thoughts, I don't want to isolate them from the world, but at the same time, I feel like the world's influence is too bad and too 3D.
I think that it's if you shelter your kids too much, then they won't know how to navigate through the real world that we're living in.
Yeah.
And when they're older, it's going to be a different world without a doubt. But up until that point, you know, I feel like it's important for the kids to get used to a little bit the real world. You can shelter them as much as you want. They're your kids, you know, it's your choice. But I did find that when we were like interviewing the school, if you will, I felt the good energy in the school. I felt the good energy of the teachers and the people that work there, and I felt their love, and I could see their interaction with the kids, and it was something that just was so beautiful. I can't describe it, but it was like, okay, I have to put my kid in a school, because at that point homeschooling was not an option in my mind.
This was the Waldorf school you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and then once we put her in, it was just like, this is just such an amazing school. So I think you just have to find what resonates, and a lot of people just love homeschooling, and it's something that's necessary for me at this point, and I have learned a lot, but it's not something that I want to continue doing. But you do what works for you as a parent, you know. That's just
cool. Yeah. It seems ideal to homeschool, but like I'm really not the kind of person to be home teaching. You know, like if I could have it my way, I would hire a teacher to come in to me.
Right.
Or I would start a school for the awake children.
Right. Yes. Well, I think isn't that how most types of schoolings kind of start? They just kind of come to the house and like, oh, I'm going to develop this way.
Yeah, we can all chip in and have a teacher put these together, and that way we can go to work.
Buy a big piece of land and put a building on it.
Because
and
like,
just say,
as a single mom, that's not really an option for me. But it could be later down the line, like when he's a little bit older. Like now, you know, if he can be focused and older, then okay, well then maybe I could do that. And how is it? Do you give them assignments? Are you teaching them with a chalkboard?
No, I've done all different kinds of things, and what's been working for me is having a set, like already pre-made, like assignment book basically, and I just go through that book and I just tell her what to do, and we go through it. If she has questions, then you know.
How old is your daughter again?
She's 8. She's in 3rd grade.
Okay.
So, but I'm telling you, man, some of the stuff they have, I'm like, what's an adjective? I forgot, you know.
Oh, like, you know what?
Your memory
is like, it's like you know what it is, but you don't know the definition of what it is.
Right. And how do you explain it to someone that doesn't know what that word is?
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, I'm like, the prefix and the suffix and the this and the that, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not going to be able to teach high school.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess the other thing I want to touch on, and I don't know but like, you're married. I'm single, and of course I'm probably going to be dating eventually. So how do you like? I don't know. Do you just like kind of separate your time and just make sure you have scheduled time to have some time as a couple?
Yes. Yeah, we do. We didn't get our date night this week or whatever last week, but yeah, we try to do date night once a week, or at least connect at the end of the day. So normally we would read or something at night, or we'll just sit and we'll just talk and just spend time together, even if it's just for like 10 minutes before we go to bed. But we do try to like reconnect and have our time, just the two of us. At least if we don't do date night, then we try to do it at least at night. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I can't imagine how that would be, having support in that way. It must be nice that Victor is awake and you both are awake. You know, a lot of times some people might be just awakening and their spouse might not be awake. And so I think that it's probably helps a lot, right? That you guys are both in the same mind frame.
Yeah. You know, it does, because, and him and I were always on the same page with like parenting, so that makes it easier. If we weren't and we were on different pages, I don't know how that would be. We're both pretty stubborn, so it probably would not end well. But yeah, so for it's good to be on the same, that we are just naturally on the same page. So
yeah. Cool. So I guess that was all that we have time for today. I don't want to go too long, but I really appreciate you having you.
Thank you so much for having me on.
I want you back, and we're thinking about doing a regular thing.
Yeah,
and so, also, I want to say to the subscribers and viewers, if you have any questions for us, comment down below, and we'll come on again and answer whatever questions you have.
Yes.
Yeah, Pattie's all in for it.
I'm in, girl.
All right, thank you guys for watching. Namaste.
Namaste.